If you are deaf or hard of hearing and you're applying for a job, and while working at most jobs, you have a right to effective communication. What is effective communication? Communication that is clear enough for you to have the same chances as hearing people get to apply for a job, to do your job, or to join in work events such as meetings and trainings. You also have a right to clear communication for other important conversations you have with your employer. Important conversations would include, for example, about your performance, about your pay, or work benefits. Who has to follow this law? Employers with 15 or more workers, employment agencies. They're responsible for placement of people in the work environment. Labor unions. If you have a union at your job, that group of people support you and protect your rights. Examples of accommodations for a worker or job applicant who is deaf or hard of hearing. Accommodations could include using hearing and deaf certified or PA state registered sign language interpreters for important conversations and for training. Using communication access real-time translations, also known as CART or real-time captioning. Using assistive listening devices that make it easier for you to hear what your employer or coworker is saying. You can write back and forth. You can ask to meet in a room or providing a work area that is quiet or does not have a lot of background noise. It's important to explain why that accommodation is needed for you. Another example is changing parts of a job that are not really important to your main job. For example, if your work is fixing cars, but other workers also answer the phone when the boss is out, you can ask that you don't have to answer that phone and that duty can be assigned to another coworker. Regarding the use of the telephone, if you are struggling to hear, you can ask your boss for an amplification on the phone so you are able to hear clearly. Also, you could ask your boss, instead of using the telephone, if you can communicate via email, or you can ask to install a video phone or other technology that will be able to match your needs. If the employer offers you a job, your employer can ask questions before you start the job about your health, including your hearing, and may make you take medical tests or skilled tests only if the employer makes all new workers answer the same questions and take the same medical tests. They cannot single you out because you are deaf or hard of hearing. Employers who hire need to provide effective communication. The only time this doesn't happen if it's a smaller business and they lack the funds and they cannot afford to pay for interpreters, CART services, or assistive listening devices, but they need to prove undue hardship. The bigger the business, the more they should be able to help. Your employer will ask for your opinion about what would help make communication clearer. They will listen to what you have to say, but employers do not always have to provide the exact help that you ask to make communication clearer. If they can find another way to communicate with you in a way that you understand, they will use that other way to communicate with you. If you try in the employer's way and it does not work, you should let the employer know that it's not working, and the employer will need to find a way that it works for you. If you need an accommodation to do your job or to join in meetings, trainings, or other work events, you need to tell the employer right away. You should tell them way in advance. This way they can make those accommodations for you, whether it be an interpreter, assistive listening device, or CART services. If you've contacted them and they have not provided those services, explain to your employer exactly why you need that accommodation and what will work best for you. If possible, give contact information for the organization that can send interpreters, captioners, or equipment that can help you to do your job and that are needed for specific situations. Because sometimes your employers do not provide what you need because they don't know where to get it. In Pennsylvania, interpreters must be certified. As a deaf or hard of hearing person, you may encounter an interpreter who is very skilled and meets your needs to clear communication. You have a right to request that person to interpret for you, but you must first sign a waiver stating that you are willing to accept this interpreter even though they are not certified. As they are interpreting, you realize you do not understand what is being said. You have the right to change your mind and ask for a certified interpreter. You will have to sign another form. These two forms are found on the internet at the Pennsylvania Office of Deaf and Hard of Hearing, ODHH. Go to the website and you can print out both forms. If you are deaf or hard of hearing and you believe you have been discriminated against by an employer because of your hearing loss or deafness and want to make a complaint against an employer, you must fill out a charge of discrimination with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC. You can find more information on how to make this complaint at the EEOC website. You must mail your complaint or go to a local EEOC office in person to tell them about your complaint within 180 days from the date that you believe the employer discriminated against you. If a Pennsylvania or local government anti-discrimination law also covers your complaint, the 180 days complaint deadline may be extended to 300 days. Another organization where you can make a complaint about discrimination is the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, PHRC, at the following website. If you need more information or need help, please contact the Intake Unit at the Disability Rights Network of Pennsylvania, DRN. Phone number is 800-692-74 888-646-4343. Other option is TDD at 877-375-7139. Or you can email us at intake@drnpa.org. The Disability Rights Network was set up to advance, protect, and advocate for human, civil, and legal rights for people with disabilities who live in Pennsylvania. Since our time and money is limited, the Disability Rights Network cannot help every individual who needs help with advocacy and legal problems. The Disability Rights Network picks the cases that have the best chance to help as many people with disabilities as possible throughout PA. While we cannot help everyone, we do want to give everyone information and referral options. Important: these videos are for general information only. Just seeing these videos does not mean that the Disability Rights Network is your lawyer. Please understand these videos are not the same thing as talking with a lawyer about your specific problem. Please note, for information in alternative formats or a language different than English, contact the Disability Rights Network at This project is supported by a grant from the Pennsylvania Developmental Disabilities Council.